For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look. The plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Do you think that we should be using more Brondo on the crops in Africa to help alleviate the food shortage and the droughts over there?
Yes.
So they have the right idea using the Brondo to, I mean, it's what plants need.
Yeah.
So any other comments on the Brondo being used in Africa that's helping the crops?
Definitely, if they got it over there, they should get more out there to help them out and get the resources they need to stay healthy and alive.
More Brondo. It's got electrolytes and what plants need.
Hey soldiers, look, artificial intelligence and robotics is going to have to take over because public schools are doing an increasingly poor job of preparing students for economic viability here in the most technologically advanced time in human history, the 21st century. So we're going to take a look at, you won't believe what has happened in a couple of school districts. Let's look at two totally different states. Let's look at a liberal state, a blue state, and let's look at a red state, okay? Because we've got a problem that is, transcending political ideology. It's transcending geographies, transcending, race, or should I say ethnicity. Okay, we got a public school problem. And look, if you're a teacher and you're one of those teachers that gets up and, it's a labor of love and you're going in and you're trying to prepare these students for a productive adult life, trying to teach them math, science, reading, writing, my hat's off to you. Okay, that's a tough job. But, we got a lot of teachers today who are actually system pigs. And what they want to do is they want to play the role of little Eichmann inside the public school system and do the bidding of the state, capital S. The state does not want these kids to come out and be independent. They want them to be dependent followers who are distracted and not able to conduct critical thought. All right, this is the goal of the public school system, and it has been for a long time. We're actually going to do a documentary on that next. I want you to check out the documentary we just did on BlackRock and how they're using your money to drive a corporate agenda of wokeness. Check it out, okay, when you get an opportunity. But for now, I want you to hit subscribe. We need you to enlist and become a soldier of finance. You can do that by simply hitting that subscribe button. Let me know you did so in the comments. I will salute you. Hit the thumbs up, guys. I really need that. You hitting that thumbs up, and you guys do such a good job of it, tells the YouTube algorithm that this is content worth watching, and they'll put it out more widely over their platform. Now look, let's jump right into this. Let's start out on the East Coast. Start out in Baltimore, Maryland, okay? Blue state, getting bluer by the day. 23 Baltimore schools have 0 students proficient in math. Math, okay? You want to go out there and be a programmer, an engineer, all these jobs that are, taking over the economy here in the 21st century. You want to do that, then I would imagine mathematics is probably key. Baltimore City is facing a devastating reality as the latest round of state test scores are released. Project Baltimore analyzed the results and found a shocking number of Baltimore City schools where not a single student is doing math at grade level. We're not living up to our potential, said Giovanni Patterson, a Baltimore resident who made headlines in January 2022 when he filed a lawsuit against Baltimore City schools. The suit claims the district is failing to educate students and in the process misusing taxpayer funds. Giovanni's actually been on this channel. We interviewed him a while back. He goes on to say, we, the taxpayer, are funding our own demise. He's absolutely right. Because, we made light of it in the intro. And I don't know if you've seen Idiocracy. But look, this is the society we have folk out there. If you look at this congressman, he's a great example of it, Jamal Bowman, okay? Nothing but a ball of emotions, is not interested in any facts contrary to how he sees the world, okay? And his substitute for reasoned debate is just shouting and wildly gesticulating, okay? And trying to be intimidating, okay, to wear you down. Now, I'm going to tell you folk out there, look, people like that, there's only two ways you can deal with them. Walk away because they're not going to get it. You got to do that unless you're willing to match their volume and passion, okay? And, most of the time that doesn't work because when two people see this going on from a distance, they say, well, it's just two crazy people, right? Neither can get a word in edgewise, and neither hears one another. So you just got to walk away from that, okay? Ignorance in the long run never wins. But sometimes ignorance does take a foothold and hang on for a couple of generations or more. The Soviets learned that. We're learning it now here in America, okay? There is an absolute lack of reason. We are disputing biological science here in this country today, all right? And we are shouting down people who want to talk about things you can see in a microscope, like chromosomes, okay? Those people are phobic or some sort of ist. This is a burgeoning idiocracy, and it's starting in these public schools where instead of taking time to teach kids how to think, not what to think, how to think, instead of doing that and going through, the reading, writing, and arithmetic, instead of doing that, you have a large degree of indoctrination going on, leftist indoctrination. So we've got that going on in the schools, the Baltimore City school system. If you go back a year further, this thing with the 23 schools that had 0 students proficient in math, that was found to be the case in early 2023. But if you go back to early 2022, Baltimore City Public Schools is among the highest funded large school districts in the country. On average, it received nearly $16,000 per student per year. Yet it's also one of the lowest performing compared to similarly sized urban school systems. Baltimore places near the bottom for student proficiencies in math and reading. Okay, one of the most alarming findings that was done in this expose came in January 2022 when a Baltimore City teacher came forward with information showing more than 75% of students tested at one high school are reading and doing math at an elementary school level. Now, if you think that these kids are going to be able to graduate and take advantage of educational or economic opportunities with reading and math levels that are at the elementary school level, then I have a bridge to sell you. It's not going to happen. So this is what's going on in the blue state of Maryland. And I will stop here and say, look, yes, it is absolutely true that parental involvement, I remember back when I remember this clearly, when I first started learning to write and read. Now, my mother and grandmother, okay, they actively taught us to read before we learned it in school. Okay. And I always used to see the men in my family reading the newspaper. I always saw the women reading books, okay, all sorts of books. And that made me want to read because, kids want to do what they see adults doing. And when my mother, I just couldn't, for whatever reason, I forget what age I was, very young, and I couldn't get my name right, okay, in writing it. And my mother said to me, if you don't get it right next time, I'm going to whip your ass. Okay. And miraculously, I got it right next time, and have gotten it right ever since. So she was very passionate about education. We didn't have money, but we had love, and we had the understanding that education could transform our lives. Okay. So the other thing that my mother used to do is she used to, before we could read, she used to read to us. And this is going back for some of you guys. Used to read Hardy Boy Mysteries. Okay, now I know a lot of people on the channel ain't gonna know what the hell a Hardy Boy Mystery is. But she used to always end it on like a cliffhanger. And we would say, oh, come on, what happened? She'd get to it the next day, but she said, if you want to know what happens, you got to learn how to read. Okay. And then I remember the day that I was in, guys, I want to say it was first grade, and the teacher, Miss Day, she was beautiful. That was my first crush. Anyway, she said, children, tomorrow we are going to learn how to read. And I couldn't sleep that night because I already knew how to read. I wanted to show my stuff. I wanted to impress Miss Day. Okay. So that's my experience with early education and parents. And, you know, the learning process needs to be respected, and it needs to be ongoing even after the kid leaves school. Okay, that's I'm no educator, but I think that makes sense. Now, let's travel over to the conservative state of Texas. Texas high school delays graduation after 85% of class failed requirements. A Texas school district has postponed graduation after 85% of students failed to meet the requirements to receive their diploma. Students at Marlin High School took a victory lap on Wednesday and have been preparing for graduation later in the week. When Marlin Independent School District Superintendent Darrell Henson announced that just 5 out of 33 students would be eligible to pass, following an internal audit of attendance, grades, and credits. Seniors in the school's alternative education program were not included in that tally. School officials worked with students over the weekend and this week to help an additional 12 students resolve missing credits and other issues as of Wednesday evening. So they're pushing it to the limit here at the last minute, try to get out of high school. The district opted to call off the graduation ceremony until more than 17 students can graduate. Okay, so if you look here, the test scores at the school fall far below the state average. This suggests that students at this school are likely not performing on grade level. All right, so we got another place where, you know, the averages are not being met. Okay, and at the end of the day, not only are those students, unless they can really turn a corner here and say, look, you know, you can keep your indoctrination. I need to learn that going out and spouting off a whole bunch of critical race theory, or, you know, going out into the world and saying, oh, today I feel like a house cat. I'm going to identify with a house cat. Tomorrow, maybe a llama. Okay, that's not going to help you make a dime. All right. So unless these kids can turn that corner, this continues to demonstrate that the public school system is a big part of the problem as an institution. Okay, and we talked about parental involvement. That is a necessary component as well. But I want you to ask yourself this question. What government agency do you know of that does a good job at whatever it's supposed to do? And don't say the military, okay? Because the military is unique. It does not serve the public in the way that a public school is supposed to. And also keep in mind, the military's core job is killing people and breaking shit. I don't care what, you know, that the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretary of Defense, you know, with, you know, all of this, they want to bring a lot of DEI, diversity and inclusion into the military. Okay, the core job of anybody's military, and this has been the way it's been since time immemorial. I don't care if, you know, next year we start battling aliens. The objective will be to kill aliens and break shit. Okay, so don't mention the military. I want you to think seriously about that. When you go to the Department of Motor Vehicle, is that a good experience? Okay, they have no competition, so they can treat you like crap. All right, what arm of the government? Mention it in the comments. Let me know. Okay, I have no ego to bruise. Okay, if you can come up with one, if you say, well, Tyrone, you know, the Department of Fisheries and Wildlife in my state, they are just doing a bang up job. hey, go ahead and put it in there. All right, so that's what's going on. We got to, if you are thinking about having kids, look, let me just tell you straight up. Public school system is not where it's at, okay? It's not, it used to be, like a lot of institutions. They used to be pretty decent, okay? NASA at one point, blasted off and went to the moon. I don't want to hear from any flat earthers or any moon landing deniers, please. And we did that back before there was a Department of Education, okay? So here's where we are. I think that you should seriously entertain educational alternatives if you want your child to have some sort of economic viability going into the future. Now, look, guys, check out that documentary I was telling you about. I want you to weigh in and let me know if you think that we should do more of these deep dives. And, we're going to do the one on education. We're going to do that one. But let me know what you think about this documentary, talking about how Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, how he's using your money to drive his global agenda. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.